I know where my concern would be if I found out there was some serial killer out there, and then the next thing I learned was that they was only killing oligarchs. I'd be like, wow, that's a hero. That's Batman. You know what I'm saying? Is a serial killer just a bad guy in and of himself? Depending on who he's serial killing, right? Welcome back to BS with Brian Simpson, episode 73. Don't forget, if you got any questions, comments, concerns, you want advice from the advice champ, go ahead and email us at BSwithBrianSimpson@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 323-451-1980. You can go to any of my socials on BS Comedian, click on the link tree. Those are the links to my dates. The next place I'm going to be is the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, running my hour in the Belly Room on August 11th. This is going to be 2 shows. You can go to their website to get it. It'll be on my link tree by the time this comes out. We'll see. Yeah, so fresh back, actually this time, I tried to predict it last time. Fresh back from the Just for Laughs Festival. I had a good time. I was very against it. I don't know why I fought it so hard. I did have a good time. It was nice to see other comedians in their environment. It was nice to finally meet certain people that I only have heard about or met them in passing and that sort of thing. It was a good time. I ate some good ass food. Chef Phil hooked it up. Y'all remember Chef Phil on here, the sushi master. This motherfucker hooked it up. They have a sushi by scratch in Montreal. That was my favorite one so far. I've been to a few of the sushi by scratch. Is it sushi by scratches or sushis by scratch?
Sushi by scratch, I believe.
Right. But if you're saying multiple sushi by scratch, is it
sushi's by scratch? I would say it's like attorneys general or
right, or sergeants major. So or is it sushi by scratches? I would love to hear how Chef Phil feels about it. Or maybe they don't talk about it in plural. Who knows? You know, introduce a little thought experiment in this brain there. No, but I went to, and I ate at this dope ass place called Les Autour Saison, which I think it means the outer season. Man, let me tell you something. You talking about some good French food? That shit was good. I never had what they call it, duck confit. Like, I know that shit's bad for you. I don't know what, that shit it tastes so damn good. It tastes so damn good. Everything there was good. I had escargot for the first time, and it was amazing. It tasted great, but I couldn't get past. I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that it's a snail. So that it's like the mental work it takes to eat it was overwhelmed. You know what I mean? But it tasted great. I couldn't stop eating it. I love the taste, but escargot was dope. But the duck confit, man, out of this world. There was 2 great restaurants I ate there. Did some dope shows, got an award, writing 10 comics to watch type shit. Met some of the other people that got the same award. It was a good night, man. It was a good week. But we're back. We're back in America. And I always miss America. Like, I'm never like, it is wild, because you know what it is too. Like, when you go somewhere like Canada, this is what's fucked up. You're constantly reminded of all the ways that other countries are better or things they do better that's just big logical. Like, foreign people be genuine, they'll be genuinely confused about, and they'll ask you like I chose things, like they're genuinely confused about like how certain shit costs money here and all of those things. And so you're constantly reminded of like, oh damn, they got healthcare here. Everyone here is so healthy and beautiful and confident about it, and so you're like, oh, they got healthcare, goddamn, and they hit you like, oh, so you don't? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, why don't y'all? I don't know why we don't. I don't know. They got shit, or you see shit like free daycare for moms and shit like that, and then on the way back, I was on our first flight. I was on the flight with this New Zealand comic that's like, big over there. And he would just talk about all this dope shit New Zealand does. Like college isn't free. Like New Zealand is one of those places like aggressively capitalist, but they still have like common sense socialist policies. Like So college isn't free. You still have to take out a college loan, but you have the rest of your life to pay it off, and there's no interest. See, that seemed like a great middle ground to me. You pay, right? That seemed like a great middle ground to me. It sounds very logical. It could never happen here. You know, something got to be making money over this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, what you mean interest free? Fuck you talking about? So then, you know, and he went on this long laundry list of ways, and he was explaining all these things that New Zealand does, right? And then this is the part, right? So then we get to the front of the airport, and they're like, American passports. I was like, over here, and me and the other comics went that way, and they were like, with yours? He was like, New Zealand. And he was like, yeah, go stand over there. And then we got through security in like 5 minutes. I ain't see that motherfucker for 25 minutes. And it was like that right there. It's like, you know, it's like we have all these shitty policies, but then it's like America still gets to go to the front of the line. So it was our one little solace. You know what I'm saying? It was the one little, you know, thing we had, you know. But that motherfucker, yeah, he gonna get to New Zealand. He probably just got there, like, probably took him 2 days to get home. But man, if he ain't feeling good about it, he just go to the doctors for no reason. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand why we don't do certain shit that make perfect sense, man. You know,
I mean, it was a for-profit company that actually ended the. You know, remember when Biden was supposed to give like loan relief for like up to $20,000 and for certain people on education loans. It was actually a private company that brought that up to the Supreme Court because they're like, well, we make money off of servicing those loans. So if you forgive $20,000 worth of debt, we're not going to make money. And it actually worked. Supreme Court accepted their argument and deemed the loan forgiveness plan unconstitutional.
Wow. So, I mean, but I can see how they would have a legal argument. Like, we never would have serviced these loans if we thought we was going to not make money.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I don't want to bore people with like the actual facts of the case, but it's total bullshit. I mean, they weren't actually going to lose any money off of it. It was just they did that to get standing so they could cancel the student loan forgiveness.
The Supreme Court, they didn't have to prove that they would lose money?
No.
Oh, no. Wow. Yeah, there you go, folks. We're doomed. We're doomed. In fact, let's start out with the doom and gloom. Let's start out with this. There's a category in this list that says doomed, and I already knew what it was going to be before you even said something. Enhanced ad privacy. Man, stop. Everybody got an ass to spy on you, bro. Everybody want to spy on you now. And here's my motherfucking thing. Listen, our agreement, Google, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Our agreement is that you get to spy on me, but you have to make my life better with that information. And you're slacking. My motherfucking speaker should know what I'm saying when I'm asking it to do stuff. Right?
Yeah.
You know so much about me, my fucking speaker should know what I'm talking about by now. So funny. Anyway, 100% coral mortality found in coral reef restoration site off Florida as ocean temperatures soar. Do y'all understand what that means? See, some of you fucking idiots don't understand why the coral is so important, why the coral reef matters. It's because the coral reef is the bottom of the food chain. You understand that? The littlest things eat the shit and live in the shit that's in the coral. And the bigger things eat those little things. And the bigger things eat those things. And the biggest things eat those things all the way the fuck up to us. If the coral reef dies, the environment is going to, like, here we go. Here we fucking go. It's a wrap. I told you. I'm sorry you just had a baby, Rob. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope they invent SPF 500 before she got to go outside, because here we go, man. This is it. This is the thing climate scientists have been screaming at the top of their lungs all this time. I guess they were going to say it here in the article, but it's like, here, coral reefs play a vital role in the overall health of the planet, and off the coast of Florida, they're in jeopardy as the relentless heat continues. The Coral Restoration Foundation said in one coral reef restoration site off the state's coast, the extreme temperatures have proved deadly. And this is going to start happening. This is going to start happening all around the world. Once the whole thing goes, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Like it's gonna. And I don't know. I think it's too late now, right? In fact, I think a scientist already warned us last year that we had already hit the point of no return as climate change is concerned. It's just going to keep getting the average global temperature is going to keep getting higher. And you know what it is? People don't understand big numbers, right? You know how they say that people don't understand big numbers? I think people have a hard time understanding small numbers too. A small number makes people less afraid. When people go, oh, if it rises half a degree, it's a wrap. And people are like, half a degree? I'm like, it was 2 degrees 40 years ago.
Right.
Now we done already hit that. So now we up to 2. I don't know what it is. I don't know the numbers. I don't know the exact numbers. But because I knew it was a wrap. Like once. I knew it was a rap when I was a child. When they first started talking this shit, I already knew it was a rap. I was like, oh, when has humanity ever come together to do anything? When everybody on Earth got to cooperate? It's a rap. That's not gonna happen. We need an enemy. That's the only time we ever come together is when there's something else for us to hate. So as long as Earth is the only place where there's people living, we're not gonna ever come together. It's a rap.
That's why these Senate hearings about the aliens are so important, Brian. We need an enemy.
Well, let's talk about this bullshit. So first of all, guys, listen. I don't know what to explain to people because I think some people are so lost and so desperate to feel like they have a rap on reality, or so desperate to feel like they understand the world that they'll believe. It's like some people are addicted to that feeling of I know something everybody else don't. You sheep don't know the truth and all this other bullshit. And it's like, and they never want to have a conversation about why they believe the things they believe. It's always, it's always like, oh, but the government. It's like, oh, yeah, the government lies. That doesn't mean that the truth is whatever you thought up. You know what I mean? It's like that's because those are the 2 things you have to prove. You don't have to, just because the government's a liar doesn't mean whatever bullshit coming out of your mouth is the truth. It's like you have to. Yeah, you're making a crazy claim that there's and I wish. Do you have the video pulled up of this guy talking, or at least the highlights, the clips?
I can pull it up right now.
It's like pay very close attention to the words he chooses and the words he is very careful not to say.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, Biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
Pay very close attention to so the first thing that's suspicious about this whole thing to me, I'm suspicious of this guy, is that he claims to be a whistleblower. But then when certain questions come up, he says that he can't share that because it's a secret, or at one point he said, I would need to talk about that with you in a skiff. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, are you a whistleblower or not? Isn't the whole point of you blowing the whistle that you tell us secrets?
Right.
So what are you talking about? You not authorized. Like, what does that mean? So here's the other thing. It's like he answered her questions like a lawyer. You know what I mean? Like I need this guy to say. I mean, even this wouldn't really be proof, but I would need him to say directly into the microphone that I observed extraterrestrial life forms, humanoid life forms. You know what I'm saying? Because all these buzzwords, it's like they're being very, very specific and surgical about the words they're using, that he saw. What was the word he said?
Non-human biologics?
Biologics, right? That could be, what does that mean? Biologics could be anything.
My dog is a non-human biologic.
Right. It could be germs. It could be tardigrades. It could be, it's like, this guy is just a clout chaser. Come on, y'all. Come on. Where's the evidence? And here's the other thing. This dude is basically saying that he heard it from somebody else. Not that he saw it, but he knows somebody that saw it. I mean, look, man, if that's all it takes for you to be convinced of something extraordinary, is a motherfucker telling you that they know a motherfucker that know a motherfucker? It's like, I don't know. I think that we certainly are doomed. You'll believe anything.
Why do you think people are so quick to believe it?
Because it's interesting, and it gives them something interesting to talk about. Let's take a second to thank our sponsor, Sheath Underwear. Having to adjust your dick all day is a hassle. Keep yourself in place with Sheath Underwear. Sheath Underwear features 2 pouches, one for your dick and one for your balls, to keep everything separated, cool, and breezy. They have tons of awesome patterns, so you can switch up your look, but always be comfy and secure. Whether you're at the gym or out on the road, Sheath keeps you cool and dry down there. Okay, I use Sheath. They work. They keep my balls from touching my legs, and that's all I require. And now I demand that from all my underwear, and I'm slowly throwing away all my underwear and replacing them with Sheath because I don't like my balls touching my legs. You know what I mean? And I keep trying to get them to make a bigger dick pouch. I don't know who they molding stuff off over there, but some of us out here we got some girth out here, Sheath. So you can skip using the pouches altogether. You'll still have the best underwear in the game. Try out their bamboo fiber blend underwear for extra softness. I love the bamboo. They'll be the most comfortable pair of boxer briefs that you've ever worn in your life. Go to sheathunderwear.com and get the most comfortable underwear you'll ever wear. Use code BS to get 20% off your first order. Plus, Sheath Underwear's 100% money back guarantee. That's sheathunderwear.com. Promo code BS for 20% off your order. Get Sheath Underwear. Support the show. Support your balls. You ever notice how most of the conspiracy nuts, and by conspiracy nuts, I'm talking about people that believe every conspiracy. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Not people that's suspicious, not people that's concerned, not people that's being discerning, but people that believe every single conspiracy. You ever notice that if you take the conspiracy out of their life, they're boring as fuck? You understand what I'm saying? They got nothing else to talk about. No. The only interesting things they can talk about is, and think about it. Imagine one day you discover that everything in your imagination, you could just talk about it like it's true. And now now all of a sudden you're interesting. And then you find other people that, that can't disprove your bullshit. And that gives you justification, because I think we talked about it before. It's called conspiratorial thinking, right? And it's a, I don't know, disorder. Because every time you believe something without evidence, you start, the part of your brain that looks for bullshit, it changes. And you become more susceptible to believing things without evidence. So it's like the more, every time you fool your own self, it's easier for you to fool yourself. It's like you taking down your defenses. It's like, I don't need to. Right. You start with, you don't start out, but once you learn to be logical and reasonable and apply that to your life, every time after that you go, it's like if I told you I saw a man fly, you would have questions. What you mean? Where? How? Was it on tape? Right? But as soon as I tell you, hey man, it's aliens under every pizza parlor fucking kids and running for office, and you buy that. You know what I mean? And the moon landing was fake. And JFK was a clone. And I saw a man fly. Now you believe me because now you've trained your brain to not need evidence. I'll beat the drum till the cows come home. But listen, just as important as truth is the path to truth. I heard that from Cornel West on a documentary called Examine Life. We talked about that, right? The path to truth is just as important as the truth. Like how you arrive at your truths, it may be more important. Because if there's nothing before that truth, if you just believe things, and there's nothing that led to that, oh man, that's fucking scary. And I don't think that's most people, but I think it's enough. It's enough people. It's enough people that we're doomed. This is why the coral reef dying. This is why, we're not prepared for the next pandemic. I don't know, man. That's
what's interesting about this. I mean, I think this guy's full of shit. This David Grush
ain't no
guy.
fucking, yeah, come on, man.
I think he's full of shit. But I think what's interesting about it is that it has broken through into the mainstream in a weird way. Like that normal people are talking about this guy is different, right? Because normally you think of like Ancient Aliens, cranks, people on Discovery Channel and shit like that. And everybody knows those people are cranks. But this guy's giving Senate testimony about this kind of stuff, and there's articles about it on NBC News.
And the senators CNN. Are sitting there just spoon feeding this motherfucker. It seemed like they were pre-agreed questions.
Yes, yeah, they're definitely teeing him up.
Yeah, it's like nobody challenging this guy. I just don't understand. It's like because when motherfuckers say some shit like that, yeah, we got non-human biologics. That is such a that is such a fucking evil, sneaky way of answering that question. It makes me wonder who's really behind trying to put this out there.
Oh, I have my own conspiracy theories about that.
If I'm this guy and I'm knowing what I know, and I know what he knows that people will assume he knows from how he answered that question, right? I'm coming out like she'd have asked me two questions, but like, Senator, let me be clear, okay? There are humanoids from another solar system here on Earth. All right? They crashed, somehow they lived, and we have the bodies intact. They haven't decomposed or nothing. It's creatures. We got creatures. They over there. It's like, say that. That's what I want. And tell us where. Where's the selfies?
Yeah, that's what's crazy to me is like everybody has a cell phone in their pocket, a smartphone in their pocket now that can take fucking 4K video. And every single video of UAPs, is exactly as grainy and shitty as it was in the 1970s.
Yeah, because it's all bullshit. Or it's people that don't know what they're looking at.
It's almost always that. But I think go ahead.
Because that's the whole point. An unidentified flying object. It's just that. It's something flying and we don't know what it is. It doesn't mean you know what it is. It doesn't mean there's little green men. It doesn't mean anything. It's like we just don't know. We saw something flying. We don't know what it was. And that happens all the time. Like the military uses UFO. It doesn't mean aliens. It just means an unidentified flying object. And until we identify it, that's what it is. And we identify a lot of them. Sometimes we see an object, we don't know what it is, and then we do. Sometimes we don't. Most of the time we do. It doesn't mean it was aliens.
Even the term unidentified flying object is a little bit of a misnomer because a lot of times it's just, a dust mote on the lens of a camera, or it's a beam of light that reflects off of something and catches the sensor in a camera, right? So it's not even we can't even assume that it's something flying. It can just be a technological glitch or some other sort of photographic phenomenon.
Yeah, but you know what? If it's one of those things, then that means that some of these fucking stupids would have to admit that they're wrong. And we talk about this a lot. It's like it's our default is to gravitate towards ideas that means we were right all along. We don't need to change a thing, baby. That's why the earth is boiling. My nigga said global boiling. He said global warming is over. Global boiling is here. And I had somebody yesterday try to downplay it, like, oh yeah, but that's just the media blowing that out of proportion. I'm like, no, it ain't. No, they not sounding the alarm enough. Like it's what does that mean out of proportion? Like it's happening. You know, like the climate scientists were supposedly blowing stuff out of proportion. Supposedly there's a global conspiracy of weathermen that are in cahoots with the oil companies. They've paid everybody. They paid every meteorologist on the globe to make this lie up that climate change is not only happening, but it's human caused. You know, and
can both be true?
Can what be true?
Where it is global warming, but at the same time, where these big oil companies will take advantage through carbon taxes.
Yeah, but carbon taxes didn't exist when when they started sounding the alarm.
No, I'm saying it is true, but in the way that it's like not carbon taxes for them, but for the average citizen. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you ate too many burgers, or hey, your AC is too high, or you know what I mean?
Do you mean like trying to shift responsibility to the average person?
Correct.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. That's what they've been doing. Same thing with recycling.
The carbon footprint. That was invented by British Petroleum.
Yeah. That whole term carbon footprint was made up so that it put it, you know, because listen, here's the truth. If every citizen in the world had as low a carbon footprint as possible, it still wouldn't put a dent in the carbon emissions. Not anything significant because most of those come from multi-global conglomerates, you know? So it's like, it's all trying to shift the responsibility to people, but it's, you know, our inability to rein in these companies is what's going to fucking kill us. And this was so crazy. You know, it's been record temperatures across the globe, right? Mm-hmm. It's been record random. I mean, I'm in Austin, Texas. I think it's been over 100 degrees, like 20 out of the last 30 days or something crazy. It's been over 100 degrees just every day. Like, I mean, I was in Montreal for 10 days. I came back, it's 100 motherfucking degrees. It was 100 degrees up there one of the days. So you know, and that's happening everywhere. The water off the coast of Florida is fucking, is the temperature of a hot tub. The coral reef is dying. And it's just gonna keep getting worse and worse and worse. It's like, it's literally an existential threat to humanity. And I don't know how you can exaggerate that. You know, it's just because people out there go, it's just the media. Where you just giving yourself an excuse not to change.
I think there is one way that you can over-exaggerate, though.
How's that?
And I think you've sort of accepted part of this framework, maybe, is the notion that it's just it's a wrap. Like, there's nothing we can do. It's going to happen anyway. It is happening. That in and of itself is a little bit of a anti-scientific viewpoint because you know, if we can limit it to 2 degrees versus 3 degrees versus 4 degrees versus 5 degrees, it's exponentially worse.
No, Rob, you misunderstand me. I'm not saying there's nothing we can do. I'm saying we won't do it.
True.
It's been something we can do. What you mean? We've been had the solution, but it's like, it ain't in us, bruh. We don't got it. We just can't. There's too many stupids. We let them come out to the education system for too long. And now it's so easy to fool enough, because you know what? The evil people in the world figured out a long time ago, they didn't have to fool everybody. They didn't have to fool most of us. They just got to fool enough of us so they can keep enough power to stop any fucking progress. That's it. And here's what's so wild. In 15 years and 20 years, when like most of the water is poison, like there's water wars and shit like that. Like on them last days, like fallout days, when like money don't mean nothing and bottle caps is currency. We're gonna look back and go, I can't believe we fucking did this over money that we made up. You know, it's like, that's how much we worship money. To people, money is more real than like the water and the air and all of that. Like, Because I put it like this: if the same thing that was happening to the climate was happening to the economy, it would be all they talking about. Mm-hmm. And the economy's made up. We made it up. Money's made up. We made up money to represent the things that actually matter. You know, it's like $1 doesn't mean shit. $1 is a chicken sandwich. The chicken sandwich is what means something, you know. But we've forgotten that. We've like been all taught to just worship money, like it really, really matters. Like if society collapse, money ain't gonna mean shit. We're gonna be back to bartering, nigga. You're gonna show up to the doctor with 2 chickens to get your medicine. The chickens is what matter. You know what I'm saying? It's like we learned to value this not real thing. But you know what I'm gonna do?
Well, we never had a barter economy. That's a myth.
Well, I'm glad I'm starting to get successful right here at the end because I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm not saving anything. I'm pulling everything out the Roth IRA. I'm pulling everything out the 401k. I'm pulling everything out the long-term savings. I'm pulling all the investments out and I'm going to live it up. I'm just going to live it up. Fuck, I might own a yacht next week. I might just over leverage my whole portfolio and just ball out. Like, please believe if I get diagnosed with something, it's a wrap. I'm really out here. Like if I find out, you know, it's like, cause you got to start living now like it's the end. You know what I'm saying? You got to start training your kids how to tie knots, how to dig holes, how to start fires. You know, how to hunt elk with no ammo. Yeah, there'll be plenty of ammo. And there'll be plenty of ammo. I mean, you know, they'll stop manufacturing it once society collapse, but it'll still be like old white dudes out in the woods that know how to make their own bullets. I don't know, but where they gonna get gunpowder? I don't know. It's gonna still be gunpowder. It's gonna be a handful of people out there. You know, it's gonna be Mad Max out this motherfucker. We gonna Mad Max our way all the way to the end, bro.
What was Rob's conspiracy about the UFOs? He said he had a conspiracy.
Oh well, I mean, I think that it's a way to get political support for increasing military budgets and spying on American citizens and foreign nationals. I think they're going to say, look, if we don't give Lockheed Martin another $10 billion to study the unidentified aerial phenomenon issue, then the Chinese are going to become friends with the aliens first or some bullshit like that.
I think you're right. That's why there's the debt ceiling. There's no limit anymore. They just gave him a blank check until 2025.
Yeah, that's how the debt ceiling works, though. They always raise it.
We shouldn't even have the debt ceiling period.
But there's no cap this time.
Bullshit. Yeah, but there shouldn't be a cap. It's made up bullshit.
Yeah,
debt ceiling is for shit that we already spent. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But yeah, I think that. I think the only way we're going to get out of this is if we raise a generation of little Ted Kaczynskis. And so I'm doing my part.
No. The only way out of this has to do with the next article. 4 out of 4,000 selected to live in Mars-like simulation at Johnson Space Center for 1 year. Now, these aren't the people that got selected to go to Mars. There's 100 of those fucking fools. Those people signed up for Elon Musk, okay? But these people this is a government thing. Houston, Texas, starting Sunday night, a team of 4 volunteers will spend the next year inside a 1,700 square foot 3D printed habitat at Johnson Space Center. 3D printed habitat should give you pause for concern. The team is simulating what it would be like to live on the planet Mars, and they started their adventure just after 6:30 p.m. Houston time. 4 intrepid scientists began their year-long mission living as if on Mars so that the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, could learn about how humans would fare during extended space travel. Among the challenges to rehearse, the distance between the planets, which averages roughly 140 million miles. Now listen, guys, I understand wanting to know what it's like to live on Mars, but this doesn't tell you that. This doesn't tell you how people would live on Mars. You want to know why? Because you can't pretend like you ain't going home. We don't know who the rapists are in that group. We don't know who the murderers are in that group. We don't know none of that because you know what? All those motherfuckers got to go back outside and go back to their lives. It's laws in that dome. Once they land on the red planet, ain't no laws out there. We don't know. We don't know. Somebody could literally go crazy on the way there. Like you said, on average, 140 million miles. You know, I mean, first of all, there's people alive right now that think they gonna go. And they've already signed up and everything. Like, it's people excited to go. It's like, you gonna be the first person to move?
Did you hear about that guy that got divorced over it?
Because he signed up?
He signed up and his wife was like, what the fuck are you doing? We have kids. And he was like, this is
More important.
my legacy is to go to Mars. And she's like, okay, well, your legacy is going to be being divorced immediately because
cut that shit out, bro. You're not going to Mars, bro. That's not your legacy. And here's the thing, no one's going to remember your name. No one's going to remember your name. That's not how it works. I mean, they're going to remember the dude that flew, and they're going to remember the first motherfucker that stepped on the planet. That's it. Those are the only people we're going to talk about. You know, if they're white. They'll definitely get credit for sure. And it might get dicey after that, but again, unless you 4 or 5, you know, unless you the first white, ain't no one going to say your name. You know, I put you guys like this. Y'all know who landed on the moon? Who's the guy that said one small step for man, one
Armstrong.
giant? Neil Armstrong. Okay, you know who his homie was?
Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz Aldrin. Okay, you know who the pilot? You know who was the third dude? Nobody fucking knows. You know why? Because third dudes don't get shit if you're white. Okay, that's how it always is. Look, y'all know who got credit for discovering America, even though he didn't discover shit. Christopher Columbus. It was 3 ships, the Nina, the Santa Maria, and the Pinta, right? Who was the captain of those ships? Nobody fucking knows. That's not how it works, guys. You number, I don't know, I forget how many people signed up for the Elon Musk thing, but it was like, I think 100? I mean, no, tens of thousands of people signed up, but I think he chose 100. So, you know, did this guy get divorced when he signed up or when he got chose? Bro,
when he signed up.
Bro, you gonna lose your family over some hypothetical shit.
It's crazy people, man.
Hey, because, bro, listen, I'm starting to lose more and more faith in Elon Musk. You know, I fucked with him. I was rocking with him. Remember when he first got Twitter? I was like, get a man a chance. Y'all hating on this man. What do we do? I mean, but now he just be making erratic decisions. Crazy. I think he's starting to believe in his own genius. So sometimes he'll just do some shit.
Starting? You think he's starting?
I mean, I think it's starting to get like out of control.
Okay.
Because it's like changing Twitter to X didn't make any sense to anyone on any level. Like, nope. Like to think that you're so smart, you don't have to listen to nobody about nothing. But that's why, because I know, or he's surrounded by yes men. Somebody had to stop him and be like, that's a bad idea, bro. Why are you changing the name? It's already a known brand. Also, now when I tweet, am I tweeting still or am I Xing? What?
You're Zeeting.
I'm Zeeting? Is that what he's calling it?
That's what they're calling it. It's very stupid.
Zeeting. Man, why would you ruin it? Doesn't make any sense because no one even talks about it like that. People still say they tweet. It's like, bro, it's still time to change it back. You can say you didn't. The response was, I don't know, but why would you destroy the brand? Maybe that's his goal.
It's part of his 20-year plan. He said to turn it into like the world's biggest, economic.
His 20-year plan.
Yeah, it's been 20 years.
So that means that he doesn't have to be accountable for anything that happens between now and then, and he knows that the world will be over by then. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody gonna be tweeting in 20 years, bro. We're gonna be fighting over water. You know what I mean? When Lake Superior becomes the Grand Canyon 2, that's when you're gonna have the greatest messaging platform in the world. Okay, that's gonna be useful for everybody. I do want one of them flamethrowers though.
That was pretty sick.
Yeah. I'd rather attack a intruder with a flamethrower than a pistol. But that's the weirdest thing to me, and I can put all the other shit to rest. This is a big thing that was happening a lot in Montreal. Is people, old friends or people that didn't know me that well or whatever, it's like they don't believe that I'm happy in Texas. It's such a weird, people ask me the question in such a weird way, and like almost an accusatory. So you like it out there? For real, you like it? I wasn't happy in Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? It's like because no one did that to me in LA. You really like it in LA? Really? I hated it. I didn't hate it, but it's like it's oppressively. When you pour in LA, it's oppressive.
Yeah, but isn't a big part of it? You have way more money in Austin. You're more successful now that you're in Austin than when you were in LA. I think if you had your level of success in LA, you might have enjoyed it.
That's true. That's true. I left LA right as right after the success started to kind of really kick in, when I started making more money. And I have no doubt in my mind I would have enjoyed LA more if I had money when I was there. Like if I had stayed in LA for this year instead of moving here, I would have enjoyed it more than I did. But it wasn't just about not being able to afford things, because I wasn't dirt poor the whole time.
No.
You know, I was homeless for the first 2 years, and then I was doing okay. Like I could afford my rent. The last 5 years I could afford my rent. I was making money, and I could eat here. And, you know, I wasn't eating fancy, but I could eat, you know, every now and then, get what I want and all of that. So it was like, it wasn't that, because here's the thing, I was also poor in everywhere else I've ever lived. In LA, I enjoyed the least, because it just didn't, how to put it? You know, I don't know. I just didn't get it. It was beautiful. I loved the weather. I loved the fact that you were, you know, a couple hours away from the mountains, a couple hours away from the beach, a couple hours away from the snow. You know, I like that you were like in proximity, but like living in Hollywood, I don't know. It just didn't feel great to me. It was, you know, and the pandemic, I think maybe just made it like when post-pandemic, or made it.
When did you move to LA?
I moved to LA. I moved to LA in 2015.
Okay. So you were in LA for a few years.
I was in LA for 7 years. I left LA I was there for 7 years.
Well, no, I'm saying you were in LA 2015. You're not really successful yet. You're kind of, I mean, you can live in everything, you can survive in everything, but you're not really successful. You're working really hard. And then the pandemic hits, and then tail end of the pandemic, you move from North Hollywood, which again, like when people say living in LA, there's lots of parts of LA. It's very different to live in West Hollywood than it is to live in Glendale or Burbank or
that's true. But I didn't just live. I lived in the Valley that last year, but I lived in other places too. Like I lived in Hollywood. I lived in in West Hollywood. You know, and you know, West Hollywood is nice. It's the nicest part of Hollywood, I think. But still, it just like I loved living in San Diego. Mm-hmm. I didn't mind living in Portland. That wasn't half bad. I love back home, PG County, DC, Maryland, Virginia. I love that. And like I said, I didn't hate LA, but I wasn't living there like, oh my God, this is the absolute fucking best. Like I love it. You know, I wasn't like that. And some people do. Some people, they move in, they're like, this is my place. I'm never leaving. Mm-hmm. And I didn't feel like that. And listen, I don't feel like that about Austin either. I don't feel like, oh, this is my place. I'm never leaving, but I like it more and more every day. You know, and so you know, it's not like, you know. And here's the other thing: the main thing, the stage time. It just wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. It wasn't enough stage time, and it was so much politics around getting the good stage time, and I just was over that shit. You know.
Well, I mean, I'm surprised that people are surprised that you enjoy living in Austin, because you're very good friends with the king of Austin, Texas. So I don't, you know, what could you really want? You know, you get all the stage time you want at the premier comedy club in the town that's owned by a personal friend of yours who also happens to be the biggest podcaster in the world. And
also the 5 other comedy clubs that are within walking distance of that club, and also the other 2 comedy clubs that are across town. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, you know.
What more could you want?
My record now is 22 spots in a week.
Damn.
Which like nobody in LA is getting that many spots. Like I wasn't getting that many. Like I think the best week I ever had in LA was like 7 spots. Mm-hmm. You know, and that was like very rare. And it's like, and that's what I'm all about. It's like, it's because I get it. It's like, look, if you got some Hollywood buzz going on, if you in that show business world and you got that buzz going on, yeah, you should be in LA. You should be in LA eating, soaking up the heat. But I didn't really have all that going on, and I want my stand up to get better. And I just got to the point where like I need to go up every night. I need to go up as much as I need to. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be on some Mark Norman shit where I'm doing spot to spot to spot to spot to spot to spot to spot. Like he's known around New York for being like bang, 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 bang. Just constantly. It's like, yeah, I need to be able to do that. I need to be able to go up as that much. Now, obviously, if I lived in New York, I'd probably be going up way more, you know. But New York is more expensive and very scary. I mean, very, like, not scary in that way, but like intimidating to try to like learn your way around and which trains to catch and where you can have spots 2 times. You know, it's like all that. But I'm willing to, you know, I think I'm gonna visit that motherfucker for like a month sometime in this next year and just try to learn my way around that bitch, you know, and see if I like that, you know. But
that's the only city I miss living in.
Well, I tell you what, man, it's like, hey, bro, I need that stage time, and you know, if you like me, you get it. If that's not what's important to you, if that's not what's the most important thing to you, then I'm not, because I've never tried to convince nobody that they need to leave one place and come to Austin or leave, you know, or whatever. But I just mean, if you want stage time, I don't think LA is not even on consideration. You know, it's just not enough. It's just not enough stage time there, or in the show, and then, you know, obviously there's people starting shows, and there's some great shows there. You know, but again, it's like, you know, you're not going up as much as you possibly can. You know, and it's like,
right.
And if you, I'm just telling you, like if you turn down the list of all of the top 10 specials from this past year, it's like 8 of them are New York comics. Why is that? There's a reason for that. It's because they go up the most. You know, it's like you gotta go up, and I'm trying to, you know, I don't understand why that's not a sufficient answer for some people, but that's what it is.
Part of the issue with Los Angeles as well is there's so much competition for stage time with people who are not not primarily, I should say, stand-up comedians.
Tell me about it.
Right? It's a lot of like Instagram celebrities and influencers and stuff like that who have quote unquote comedy shows, but they didn't come up through like the stand-up scene. That's not really what they're about.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of people that, you know, they're takers, you know. They care what they get out of stand-up, but they don't give a fuck if they leave anything behind, you know. These are the same type of people that, you know, where you can't, you know, there's these people that fuck up the, you know, the take a book, leave a book thing in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? They just be taking books. They don't never put no books in there. You know what I mean? You ever see one of them shits?
Oh yeah.
It's just out on the sidewalk. Hey, take a book, free books, leave a book. And it's like, and you know, right away, every time I see one of those, I think about where one of those cannot be. If I see a take a book, leave a book with books in it, I'll live around there. You know. But if the take a book, leave a book is all disheveled and there's like 2 books in there, it's like, I ain't moving around there. It's unscrupulous individuals around this motherfucker. You know what I mean? That's the first sign that there's a fake nice neighborhood. Yeah. Let's take a voicemail. Let's take a voicemail from what is it?
Big Dog.
Big Dog. Let's hear it.
Yo, what's up, Brian? It's your boy Big Dog. Big fan of the pod. Very funny. I was just, what's your thoughts on like America, on the United States? You know, I know a lot of people don't have a lot of hope. They're disappointed. You know, America's this, America's that. But there's a lot of good things about America too. It's almost like we're a big family, and or we're supposed to be a big family. You know, and I feel like there's a lot of good people in the States, and there's a lot of community-oriented things. And I was wondering what's your take on the States and what America means to you. And yeah, just let me know. Have a good one, bud. Bye.
All right, Big Dog. Well, you can't be that big of a fan of the pod because you would already know how I feel about America. I talk about it incessantly. Yeah, listen, there's good people everywhere. You know, it was good people in Nazi Germany. You know, what does that mean? You know, because at the end of the day, like when you talk about America, see, the thing is, if you ask most Americans how they feel about America, they'll say they love America. But the real question you need to ask is, what do you mean when you say America? Who is America? Because everybody don't mean the same thing when they say that. You know?
Do you think America is a family, as Big Dog says?
Well, again, that's just a different way of wording the same question. It's like, who's in the family? Because you said a key word there, Big Dog. You said supposed to be. Yeah, that's how we talk. I mean, that's the thing Martin Luther King kept saying. Like, all the shit we write down about America, if we could just live up to that, we would be amazing. But we don't even try to do that no more. We don't try to be included. You know, it's like America is everybody. It's not just the people that agree with you. It's not just the people that look like you. You know, and so until people realize that and start to act like that, like at the end of the day, because it used to be like when I was coming up, it was like at the end of the day, it's like we argue, we fight, but at the end of the day, we are one. People will still, have patriotism. But now it's not like that no more. It's like, yeah, I love America, but what I mean by America is like me and people that look like me. So, and people that think like me. So, fuck all these anti-Americans. And by anti-American, they mean anybody that criticizes America. You know what I mean? And so how can you love America if you're not willing to point out her flaws so that it can be fixed?
Do you love America, Brian?
I don't know. I love the idea of America. But like I said, what does that mean? I don't love how she behaved. But like I said, I wouldn't want to be somewhere else. I don't know where else I would want to be. I mean, I haven't been a lot of places yet. I think I'm gonna go do a lot of traveling next year. But every time I leave the country, yeah, I see some things I like better. But then when I get back here, I'm like, home sweet home. Home sweet home. Everything tastes right. Everything look right. Everything just seem right. We drive on the right, correctly. And so and maybe that's just me being familiar. Maybe it's not necessarily better, but like I like how America feels in terms of just my everyday life. I don't always like what she do or what she say or who represents us or what they think. We're definitely hugely responsible for the current state of the climate and all of that. But yeah, at the end of the day, though, I like walking through the passport line first. And now that I can afford healthcare on my own, I don't care about that either. I hope all of y'all have a trouble with it. No, I'm kidding. So that's what it is. I don't know if I would use the word love. I don't know if I've ever said that, love. I guess the real question is, does America love me? I love America as much as America loves me back. Yeah, how about that? Okay, we got another thing from Tony from New Zealand.
Yes, sir.
All right, hit me.
First of all, boys, if I was at an airport in America, you don't think that you wouldn't already fucking know about it? Because I'd be definitely coming to see you guys. Second of all, sounds like me. Fuck, I don't. It was pretty shitty audio. I couldn't hear it that well, but he could even be a fucking Scotsman or a South African that's lived in New Zealand for a while. I finally got the wife to listen to a bit of an episode because she didn't believe that any famous comedian would give a shit about what I've got to say. He walked in on the part where you were talking about, what was it? Chicks with mental health problems, hot chicks to just make their money off OnlyFans, and if you see a crackhead walking funny, it's because she used to have a good ass and talking about it, but she still has to walk. So later on that day, I heard her talking to one of the daughters on the phone, and she says, "Your father's fucking mad. That famous comedian he thinks he knows, it's actually Andrew fucking Tate."
Oh my God. Wow. Damn, Andrew Tate wishes he was as funny as I was. Yeah. I guess maybe that wasn't Tony then in America. Or he's really committed to the lie, to the cover story. That was a weird part to have to try to introduce a woman to the pod, to have her walking on that part.
Yeah.
It was heavily misogynistic. I can admit that. But listen, we choose to say the funny things around here, okay? And we'll deal with the fallout later. You know what I mean? And also, it was true. Is that fair? Sometimes the truth is problematic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes the truth is problematic. All I said was, if you a bad bitch, you got various ways of making easy money. Sex work. Yeah. Y'all should listen. Pay homage to the hoes of the past. They actually had to fuck somebody to be a sex worker. Now you can just go online and. I mean, come on. Look, I don't know who. Maybe they exist out here, but I haven't seen any dudes going. I came so good. I haven't seen that. I ain't seen no dudes making money doing that. So I don't know. And again, maybe where I was wrong is by saying it was easy, but it is. Come on, y'all. Come on. I mean, the only thing you paying is your dignity. Paying your dignity, a little dignity, and you're gonna have to explain that shit to your kids one day, because that's never going away. You know what I mean? That lady gonna have kids one day, and she gonna have to. One day she gonna be watching TV. She gonna think the kids sleep in the world, and she gonna hear, "Oh, ice cream so good," from another room. She went, "Oh no." I don't know, and maybe there is a male equivalent to that. Maybe your kid's walking around going, "Daddy, what did you do in the war?" Or something like that. And you gotta, I don't know. "Daddy, is this you committing war crimes?" I don't know. But don't worry, man. I'm really disappointed that we didn't convert Tony's wife to a fan of the pod. But tell her I'll try to do better. Get her to hop on one of these voicemails. And let me have it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm all about that. I love women yelling at me in my spare time and in my horny time. On my podcast.
Tony also sent a slight addendum. He says, "Hey bro, sorry in all the excitement of me having a doppelganger, I forgot about the child labor. Brian posed the question, who would let their children do these slave labor jobs anyway? Here's the thing, not that many years ago, 1950s England, both my parents worked from the age of 16 and 13 for much less than adult wages. This money was handed over to their mom. Why did they do it? Because that was the only way they could make ends meet, and this was pretty common in working class England. Unfortunately, I fear that as the corporate oligarchs gain more power and control of both sides of the political system, we may devolve to a point where people have to send very young people to do these jobs just to get by. But maybe listening to Brian is just making me cynical."
Yeah. Who knows what it's going to be? But again, hey Tony, don't even worry about it, bro. The world is like, we're not going to be around long enough. I put it like this: these kids is about to get put to work. That's going to be their last job. Ain't going to be no more jobs after this. I'm telling you better teach these motherfuckers how to skin an animal. Right? You better teach. Don't send them to the mine. Send them to the wilderness. That's what we're going to have to go revert to that. Kid turn 13, send them out in the woods. If they come back 14, then they're an adult. Straight up Spartan shit. You know what I'm saying? We got to test these kids now, because that's what's gonna be left. No more society, just fucking us versus man versus wild. That's what we left with. Or not. I mean, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit of Rob's optimism. I feel. The sunshine went through the window and reflected off the mirror and came down the stairs and hit me right in the fucking eyes. You know what? Maybe we will pull through. Maybe we will, maybe America will just spontaneously unite and attack all of our problems with logic and reason and all the science and collective knowledge that mankind has ever mustered, like the movie Apollo 13.
No.
We
have to teach all of our sons and daughters how to build munitions and
how to shoot straight.
For them get the right idea, and some of these oil company execs start
bro.
having
listen,
accidents.
This is our only hope. Okay, do y'all know? Do y'all remember? Do y'all know why the term white was invented? There was a point where white wasn't a thing. Y'all know this?
Right.
It's like Europe wasn't white. It was Irish. It was English. It was French. And they all ever did was fight each other. They weren't like one thing. They didn't call themselves that. They didn't think of themselves as that. You know what I'm saying?
The English needed the poor Irish to break the skulls of black people in China.
Exactly. They figured out, because once monarchs started getting their fucking heads chopped off, they figured out real quick that the rich were in the minority, and the only way they could maintain power was to convince poor people to be against each other, to convince poor whites who they were actively taking advantage of at the time, that poor everybody else was responsible for their poverty or responsible for their problems. So they invented the term white to unite the poor whites against everyone else. And every single race at some point eventually assimilated. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, because at first it was like, you know, at first the Irish were like, we ain't white, fuck the English. You know, and they started coming over here getting treated bad, and I was like, actually, that white shit ain't half bad. Like, if we can get in the white club, you know what I mean? Same thing with the Italians. When they first came here, they wasn't in the white club. They was fucking immigrants stealing jobs and all of the other shit, right? And you know what? This white shit ain't that bad. And now everybody white now, you know? And my point is, the only thing that spurs the upper class into action is existential threats. So I feel like maybe our only hope is for some brave soul to start dragging these oligarchs in the street and chopping their heads off. Actually blowing their heads off. Sawed-off shotgun, bang! Just dragging them out in the street, bang! You know, but here's the real problem. We don't even know who most of them are. Because the smart rich people shut the fuck up and just be rich. They're not trying to be known. They're not trying to be famous. You know, the overwhelming majority of rich people in the world, you don't know who the fuck they are. You wouldn't even know them if they walked past you. You know? So, you know, who knows? But man, because I know where my concern would be if I found out there was some serial killer out there, and then the next thing I learned was that they was only killing oligarchs. I'd be like, wow, that's a hero. That's Batman. You know what I'm saying? Is a serial killer just a bad guy in and of himself? Depending on who he's serial killing, right? Usually it's hookers and poor people and people that won't be missed. And so we like, man, fuck those guys. But if a serial killer was actually killing people that I agreed should die, I mean, listen, I put it like this. If he killed 3 people in a row and I thought all 3 of those people should die, you know, if he slipped up and killed an innocent on the 4th one, I would let that slide. If he killed 3, if he killed 3 oligarchs and then beat a hooker to death, I would be like, well, look, let him cook. You know, let's see where he's going with this. You know, maybe that was the oligarch's favorite hooker. I don't know. Let's wait till the manifesto drop. Let's not rush to judgment. You know.